Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're now in our part 8 of running a country is not rocket science. And this is the final one. Basically, we said that if we want to run the country, you have to change the educational system, and the educational system has to create a move away from competitiveness and kind of cutthroat approach to more community based, more family based. Then you have a new kind of thinking in order to run a country better. Because if you don't, you're not going to, you're always going to be competing with each other, and that's going to create the disorientation of the country. Now, just recently, we have a professor who was a Palestinian refugee who actually, Umar Yugi, he created a device that combines a metal molecule with a organic molecule, creating a structure which creates space inside, which can actually trap water molecules from the air, as well as carbon dioxide, and then in actual fact clear the air of carbon dioxide and create water, quite a few thousand liters of water from the air from out of space, out of the air. Now he won the Nobel Peace Prize for it in 2025. So that's very recent. Started the company. They are producing these units now, and we know that the units for electricity has also been produced by a company. So if a government wants to run a country well, simple thing, just provide people with those particular devices, pay for it, and if you don't have it, there will be rich people enough to actually provide it for the people. So in every country, in every street, and in every family, there's poor people and rich people. So if you create a kind of a relationship of people that care for each other, so we call it the new caring world order at Ikra HL University. We call it the new caring world order, where we create a kind of an integrated system where people are learning from each other, also create jobs for the youth, etc. And one of the features to qualify as a holistic methodologist is you must produce water from nothing, from the air. You must produce electricity from nothing using the electromagnetic field, a self-sustainable garden, as well as create a technological or a mechanical toy for a young person, for a younger child. Now, that is in those particular four skills, you develop a society. In other words, create your prototypes, and and I'm sure it can go cheaper than what is happening at the moment through the highfalutin scientific kind of discoveries, because there's always a simpler way of doing things. Um, there is, as I mentioned already, there is a child in Africa, a teenager who actually created electricity using bicycle parts and the wood, creating a propeller, using the wind in order to generate electricity for the whole community. There's a lady who went into the desert and knew did a PhD in arid areas, knew exactly how to identify where there's water below the desert sand, and reconstructed a whole particular community that were dying out because there was no water. Created a complete self-sustainable feature, and that's not impossible unless people are allowed to move forward. There's also a gentleman that there's a video that used to be free on now people must pay to get it, um, who 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 reclaimed the desert. Half of Africa's desert has been reclaimed by a man who couldn't read and write. He just basically made a way in which created a channel in which the water that does fall in the desert can actually be trapped, and then created seeds in which they can transform the whole particular city or the whole particular area to produce food and everything for the people. So these are not impossible features. What I'm saying, to run a country is not rocket science, because you can create everything for people what they need. Also, for instance, a camel. A camel is the Quran talks about the camel being amazing, And because one particular person was asked, how did you manage to assist people who were like dying of drought, etc.? He said, I just fly camels in, and the camels provide everything for them. So it's not an impossible task, but if it becomes impossible if you make things difficult, make people believe it's difficult, and it's complex when it's basically easy. So in creating a new learning culture in which learners are actually paid to learn, etc., it's been done already. If you look at Denmark, Denmark is a more welfare kind of state where they see to people, they give people, it's like the happiest country in the world, basically, where the government is more kind of a social government, more kind of a welfare government, looking after people, giving them free education, free particular features. And that is the development of a country. Even if you look at Libya, Libya was one of, in 1970s, one of our particular politicians was talking about Libya being a utopia, where Gaddafi gave everything to the people free, and there was no particular people that had a problem. And they even provided a water supply for the whole of Africa, and that was against the West, which created a kind of a destruction of him, and bombed that particular canals that he created, and took over the country or destroyed the country, because it was challenging the extraction feature of the Western world. The Western world and its structures, like meeting procedure, government structures, etc., is all designed in order to control people's resources, to enslave people, and to extract as much from people. So if you, and that is because of this, has been designed to create that kind of people. So if you change it, you can develop a new society. And so I encourage you to go onto my blog. I just did something on why is math important, dealing a whole feature on development, etc., as well as the new process of holistic leisure learning, and how to change that civilization to a more positive one. And now we've got the unit to supply water, the unit to supply electricity free, and those are the main features that develop a society quickly, and it can be done. We don't have to make people wait and stand in a queue for a little bit of money. You can provide people with money through posts and through their accounts, through their phones, etc. It's not impossible, but the mindset of the leaders must be to serve the people and not to control the people. That's the bottom line. And then running a country is not rocket science. Inshallah, we hope somebody will pick it up. Remember, companies can do it, families can do it, neighbors can do it. You don't have to wait for the government to do it. You can become self-sustainable on your own if you're just prepared to do the work and to serve, inshallah. Wallah ta'ala. All the best. I hope these 8 videos will help, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.